Hi, my name is Tiara Willis. Welcome to the Ambassadress podcast. I have a special message for you today, but before we get started, I have to let you know you can find me on Anchor Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. Just click the link in the bio of this episode and it'll lead you directly to wherever you like to go. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. The peace of God brings us through storms and the fire of trials. Have you ever been in a situation and you handled the circumstance better than normal? Philippians chapter 4, verse 7 says, "And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep our hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." God, as our shepherd, He provides all our needs and He cares about even the smallest of details, so much so that He even knows the numbers of hairs on our head. God doesn't just give you any peace, but He gives you a special kind of peace that only He can give. John 14:27 says, "In peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives. Let your heart not be troubled. Let it be without fear." So how's the peace that God gives us different from the peace that the world gives us? The world leaves us with a false sense of peace. The world makes you think that if you obtain a certain thing or you get something valuable, that then you can have rest and peace. The world is full of evil, and the atrocities we see on the news every day makes you wonder, how can anyone in this world ever have peace? But yet and still the world makes you think if you have enough money and if you have the latest fashion trends, that then you will have peace. The world subliminally portrays a world where men or women, they're seeking true love, and once that man or woman has found true love, then they can have rest and peace. And the truth of the matter is that those things do bring some kind of peace, some kind of excitement, some kind of happiness, but it can in no way compare to the peace of God. The peace that God gives isn't based on your circumstances. It isn't based on how big your bank account is. Rather, the peace of God is a state of contentment or satisfaction no matter what season you're in. Yes, life may be rough and it may be tough and things may not be going the way you're looking forward to yet, but the peace of God shall remain. Yes, you've been waiting and waiting on the promise of God and you haven't seen them yet, but the peace of God will keep you still. God's peace is like a tree that withstands a storm. Yes, some leaves may have blown off, and yes, some branches may even have broken off, but the roots are still deeply entrenched in the ground. God's peace is a peace that will keep you stable in a situation where you should be unstable. And yes, God's peace does not make sense, because in a world without His peace, you would be frustrated with every circumstance and you would be chasing after things that will temporarily give you a false sense of peace. But God is nothing temporary. All things that God does, He does well. He won't leave you with a peace that won't last you through your rough season. He won't leave you with a broken peace. Rather, God will give you a peace that will shock you and others around you. People will wonder, how did you come out of that situation smiling and unscathed, and they were just barely hanging on? Allow God to give to you a peace that only He can give, and rest in the security of His peace. This has been another great episode on the Ambassadress podcast. I pray that you are blessed and that you receive the peace of God. Until next time.